Hi guys, it's Anna here. Thank you for checking out my channel. Here we talk about all things motherhood, the joys and the struggles. Today I'm coming at you with my top 7 baby items. Some of these are traditional items, but a lot of these are not your average baby items. So stay tuned and see what I have to have for my babies. The first thing on my list that I have to have for babies is these Dr. Brown's bottles. I got these with Heidi and they were recommended to me by my sister-in-law and I really love them. I've tried a couple other different bottles that we were just given and they didn't have this blue piece inside, so I'll show you. So this is what's on the inside, and there are a lot of bottles, I think most bottles are just like this. I'm guessing this is patented. And these are fine, there's nothing wrong with them, but I noticed Heidi got really burpy when she was with these. I think these are actually supposed to stop the burping, or at least minimize it. What they do is when you put these in and they're sucking, when you tilt it back like this, the blue straw is sucking in the air and then filtering it back out through the white piece in there. So it's supposed to keep them from sucking in as much air, and I will say I don't think Heidi was as burpy with these as she was with just like a plain bottle and nipple. So I really recommend these. Even if you are planning on exclusively breastfeeding, buy like a set of these small ones or these big ones. We used them both, it just depended on how much Georgia or Heidi was eating at the time, but I really recommended just getting one package. I think they come in packages of 3s, just to have in case you really just need to get away and need to have a bottle, or your baby just won't nurse all of a sudden, or you have to end up using formula you never know. It's so nice to have these on hand so you don't have to run out and get them. So definitely recommend these. Okay, so I was talking to Aaron after I made this video, and I told him that the Dr. Brown's bottles were in the video and were one of the things I really liked, and he was like, "What? Those things are the worst." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I really like those bottles." And he reminded me that when we were formula feeding Heidi, it was really hard to get the formula in the bottle because the bottle opening was just slightly bigger than the size of the formula scoop. So if you are going to be formula feeding with bottles, I would actually not recommend these and recommend you find a bottle that has a much wider opening because it's way easier to get the formula in. So I guess I only really recommend the Dr. Brown's bottles for women that are using breast milk, but maybe Dr. Brown's now makes a bottle with a wider opening. I'm not sure, so maybe check that out, but just thought I'd let you know the truth about those bottles. The second thing that I have to have is really simple. It is a basket. Just a catch-all basket, any shape, any size, it doesn't matter, but just big enough to catch it all. You can see in here I have belly stickers for Georgia, and I use them for Heidi too. I just didn't put them on their belly, but I could probably actually take out here now that she's a year old. And then I just keep socks and shoes and hair bows and anything, mismatched socks, everything fits in here. It just gets thrown in here, and then because this one's shallow, it tucks in right underneath the changing table. It's so easy, so simple. It's really honestly a waste of time to try to organize little baby socks and baby shoes because you're always just digging and grabbing them out and they get thrown everywhere. So just having a place where I can throw them, keeping them at least somewhat organized has been great. So this was like unconventional but totally necessary. Item number 3 is a good blender. Let's see if I can pick this up. This piece is kind of heavy. This is the Ninja blender, and it is amazing. With Heidi, I just had your average run-of-the-mill glass blender, and when I went to make baby food for Heidi, it did not do the job. Now, if you're going to buy baby food, which is totally cool, I did that too, you probably won't need one of these, but I wanted to make Heidi's baby food, and that glass blender I had just did not cut it. It only had blades at the very bottom, whereas this one has blades like all the way up and down, you can see. So it just took forever to get the food even close to puree, and then there were still chunks in it. So I pretty much gave up and just bought baby food for Heidi. But my husband got me this for Christmas or birthday or something. It is awesome. It's huge, but there are different versions of this. Mine has a blender attachment, a food processor attachment, which I used this morning, so it's dirty. I made like toddler bites for Georgia and Heidi. And then it also has like individual smoothie cups, which I use. There's like 3 different sizes, and I use those a lot to make smoothies for myself. So this thing gets a lot of use, but it was great when I was making food for Georgia. I could cook up whatever vegetable, fruit, whatever I was going to put in there, get it soft enough. I could throw it in the blender with a little bit of the cooking water or some breast milk, blend it up in huge batches, put it in ice cube trays, and toss it in the freezer, and then I had a bunch of food made up. What's really great about this is that the blade comes out, which makes this part and the blade relatively easy to clean. I mean, it's still a blender, it's not super easy to clean, but this is really nice that it comes out. And then the lid also has this pour spout attachment, so I can just literally pour the food out into the ice cube trays. This was amazing for making food for Georgia. I would definitely recommend it. And actually everything that I recommend today, I'll try and find the link and put it down in the description box below so you can check it out. The fourth thing that is currently a must-have for me, I did not use at all for Heidi. We did not use any sort of monitor for her. Our house is small enough, and she was actually in the room right across from ours, so we could just keep the doorways open and we could almost see her from our bed. So we never really felt like we needed one, and it was just me and her in the house, so it was always quiet enough that I could hear her during nap time, so we really made do without a monitor. But when I had Georgia, I wanted to go outside with Heidi and play, but I felt like I couldn't when Georgia was sleeping, so it kind of kept us in the house, and I wanted to be outside more. And even in the house, I was actually closing doors, which I didn't do for Heidi for a long time, so that we wouldn't wake Georgia up, and so I just couldn't see her and hear her as well. So for Christmas, my mother-in-law got me this monitor. It is called Summer, I guess is the brand. I haven't ever really looked at it. It's really easy to use, and the camera is upstairs in Georgia's room right now, and you can actually hook up several different cameras to this. I think... yeah, you can hook up, it says 4 different cameras, so you can see you can go between 4 and it will just like scan through them. So like at my mother-in-law's house, when she's got multiple grandkids sleeping, it's really nice to be able to scan through and see all of them at once. And then there's a button here that I can talk to Georgia. I haven't used that much yet, but I see myself using that more in the future. There's a light on the camera upstairs that you can have blue or red. It's just really easy to use, pretty intuitive, and the range is decent. I haven't actually tried any other monitors. I'm sure there are monitors where the range is much longer, but we can walk around our entire block and never lose signal. So that is so nice to just be able to get outside and still hear and see what Georgia is up to in her room. With one baby, maybe I wouldn't recommend a monitor like this one. I think it's a little bit pricey for just one, but if you have a toddler and a baby or another child and a baby and you are not able to just peek in their room all the time, then this is definitely a must-have. And now I'm just going to keep it right there so I can watch her while I'm making this video. The fifth item is another unconventional one, and it is a lingerie bag. I don't remember where I saw this, it was probably on Pinterest, but this thing has been amazing for keeping all of Georgia's socks together, and Heidi's too. All I do is when the socks are in the laundry, when I'm putting laundry in the washer, I throw all the socks in here, zip it up, throw it in the wash, throw it in the dryer, and it's done. The socks stay together, and I don't lose any. I don't have to worry about them going in different loads of laundry and trying to keep track of one or the other. This thing is great. It's like $1, and I've actually been using it for other things. I used it for some of my socks, like my smaller footy socks. I'll use it for my reusable face cleansing pads. When I use reusable breast pads, I put them in here too. This has so many more uses than just baby socks, but it is incredible. This has really changed how I do laundry. It's great. Number 6 is something that I got when I was pregnant with Heidi, and I have used it so much over the last 3 years, and it is a Moby wrap. And yes, this is just what it looks like. It's just a massive piece of fabric, but it is great. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, and it's a double fold. It's just a wrap that you tie around yourself. I will insert a video of me tying it here, and you can kind of see how I do it. It's super simple once you just watch like one video on how to do it. You pretty much just have to find the center. That's the hardest part of the whole Moby wrap, but it has been great. You can hold literally newborn to 3-year-old. I have recently held Heidi in this thing when she was crazy fussy and I needed to cook dinner. And I can wear them on the front, I can wear them on the back, I can have them facing in or out. Georgia loves it, Heidi loves it. I never have had any problems with this. It's so cozy. My favorite time to use this is when they're newborns and you just like put them in there and they're just all curled up against your body. I actually wore this to church a lot. It was a lot easier than having to lug around the car seat because I could just slip them in there. They'd sleep the whole time and they were right there. I didn't have to worry about having to set them down and pick them up and taking up space in the pew. It was great. So I know there are a lot of different carriers, and this one, as far as like if you're hiking and stuff, it's not quite the best. It does get pretty warm, but just for an everyday carrier around the house or running errands, this is great. If you're going to get groceries, you just plop them in there and they're with you, especially when your kid isn't big enough to sit in the seat. This is a great way. I just literally wear it to the grocery store in the car the whole time. It's great. So check out lots of different carriers, but I'm a big fan of the Moby. It's very comfortable and really easy to use, and my kids both loved it. The last item I have that was a favorite baby item with both Heidi and Georgia, I don't actually have with me because I've already put it up in the attic. It is just a baby item. I don't use it much after probably about 9 months, but it is great. It's just a swing. I will hopefully insert a picture of it here. It should be that Fisher-Price swing, and it is great. I think maybe my in-laws gave this to us, and it has been amazing. It's so quick to just buckle the kids in. It swings, it vibrates, it has music and white noises and nature noises. It's just a great place to set the kids when I need to do something. I don't mind setting them on the floor, and I do that a lot, just a blanket with some toys, but this gives them some motion when they're a little bit fussier, and then I can take it outside too, so I can bring it out with me when we're working outside or playing outside and they're sitting in there and it's safe, they're buckled in, they can't go anywhere. It has been great. I take it with me when I'm going to a friend's house or I'm going somewhere for a weekend. Like, that is the one item I bring with me if I have a baby, because they can nap in it too, because it's not too far upright that they'll like slouch forward. It leans them back. And then when your babies grow out of it, like Heidi, when I was using it with Georgia, would use it for her baby doll, so it can be a toy too. And I know there are a lot of like big expensive swings that like swivel and swing both ways and like vibrate and shake and bounce and do all these different things, and I tried one of those that we had lent to us, and it was nice. I feel like it didn't really hold anything over the easy Fisher-Price cheaper version. This one's also really easy to transport. It packs up really flat. It's easy to it has a handle. I can just carry it with me wherever I'm going. As far as swings go, I think it's a really great option. So if you're looking for a swing, I would check that one out. And we didn't think we needed one when we had Heidi. We actually didn't buy one. But as soon as we got that from my in-laws, it was like, oh, this is amazing. She's just so happy and comfy in there, and I could tuck her in with a blanket. It was fabulous. Those are my 7 baby must-haves. I hope some of them were a little different than what you normally hear and give you some ideas of what you might want to get in your house when you're having a baby. If you have any other great baby items that you just had to have, leave them down in the comments below so we can check them out and get other ideas for our house. Because as I've said, with Georgia, I needed things that I didn't need with Heidi, so I would love to hear what you have been using for your babies. If you like this video, please hit that like button down below. It really helps me out. And then hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more about me and my journey with motherhood, and hit that bell icon too if you want to get notified every single time I post, which will be Fridays. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!